Hey guys, Gina here. So, last weekend of August. How did that happen? Where did the summer go? Did I chase enough sunsets? I'm not sure. Probably not. But I am actually kind of looking forward to fall, which is weird because orange is so not my color. Not my color wheel at all. And it typically makes me angry. In fact, there's a well-known home repair store that orange is their primary logo color, and after I'm in that store for a few minutes, I just start, it's like that color just affects me. But what's weird is that it doesn't affect me when it's a pumpkin or a mum or something of that nature. It's like if orange is happening in a pumpkin or happening in a flower, I'm okay with it. But if orange happens on a t-shirt, on cones on the highway, in stores, no, not so much. But that's okay. But did you know that this week, Starbucks went ahead and released their pumpkin drinks? I think there's 2 of them now. I don't drink them because they're not really whole food plant-based, no SOS. But a lot of people do, and so they're very, very popular. So it hit like massive headline news that they were debuting those this week. And I was thinking, it's not even September. Now, in September, I decorate my porch. I have these fake pumpkins and fake mums and different straw-like looking figurines and stuff. And I do. Starting September, it's welcome fall, and I love it because I start thinking about Thanksgiving, and then it starts bringing me into Christmas, and then we get into January, February, March, and then we're back into, it's summertime. So, you know, there's really just 2 seasons of the year. Well, 3. There's summer, a little bit of fall, and itty-bitty Christmas. Otherwise, the rest of it, nah, we don't need it. But, so, since Starbucks did debut their, I think they call it a pumpkin spice latte, but I think there's also a pumpkin cream cold brew that they like started either last year or the year before, and it's evidently extremely popular. And boy, that sun just came out. But anyway, so it got me thinking, I need to make something with pumpkin in it. So, got out my little handy dandy Engine 2 book that, you know, I really probably should get another one because this one is still falling apart. But we actually made this pumpkin pound cake. There's a picture in the book. It's on page 260 of the Engine 2 cookbook. And we basically follow the recipe. Engine 2 cookbook is a whole food plant-based diet cookbook. Typically no oil, no salt, no sugar. I think there might be occasionally that they allow something that's not. But the substitutions that we made is it calls for maple syrup, and I just use date syrup. And then I don't use vanilla extract, I use vanilla powder. And it calls for whole wheat flour, but I can't have wheat. So I typically use Pillsbury's gluten-free mix. And I'm not going to tell you that it's healthy, but I will tell you that I can pronounce all the ingredients in there because it's like tapioca and rice flour and, you know, some other things. I probably should have brought it out here with me. But, and it also calls for oat flour, which I usually use, but I was out of oat flour. Whoopsie. I got to order some more. So instead we just used rice flour this time because that's a good substitution. If you don't have oat flour, you can 1-for-1 on rice flour, so it's an even substitution. And the rest of the stuff, I don't ever put anything like, it says you can put in like cranberries or raisins or chocolate chips, etc., etc. I don't do that because I typically don't like baked goods with chunks of stuff in it. That's a me thing. My mom loves chunks of stuff in her baked goods, and I'm just like, no, it's got to be, yeah. Even before I was whole food plant-based, I would pick out the chunks. I mean, I don't do that. I don't know why. It's a texture thing, I guess. But anyway, so those were really the only substitutions. Now, ironically, it calls for like 1 1/4 cups of pumpkin puree, and I just used canned pure pumpkin, which ends up being a little bit more than 1 1/4 cups. So sometimes I have to cook it for an extra 5 to 7 minutes extra, but I don't want to waste that 1/4 of a cup of pumpkin because I'm just like, why not? And it works. So obviously this recipe is very forgiving. So you can make all kinds of different substitutions in there, make it how you need to eat it. But I did want to show you, this is the end that we cut off. And so it makes a very dense quick bread. And it's kind of like a little bit of a chewy flavor, probably because it doesn't have the gluten in it. But it's not chewy. It's just kind of like, I don't know how to say it. It's fall. It's official. So we don't have to wait for Starbucks. Gina has spoken. Like that matters. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about what are some of the things you like about fall? What are some of your traditions? How can you turn them into a whole food plant-based diet? That's really good. So, some of the things that I like to do is I love baking in general. I don't always have time for it, but that's one of my chasing sunsets aspects this fall, because Shelby will be 4 in December. So she's already starting to like to help Mama bake. And, you know, she can dump stuff, you know, after I measure it in, she likes to dump it in the bowl and she can help me stir it. And that's super, super fun. So I'm trying to go through and trying to figure out some recipes that are really fall related. And I just really love fall. And what's interesting, and I'll talk about this more as we get closer to it, but my New Year resolutions, I always do those at the 1st of October. I don't know why. I have a theory that it's because school starts every end of August, 1st of September. And after you've been doing school for a couple of weeks, you're able to set your goals for the year and kind of figure out what your life is going to look like. And so then you make your resolutions for the year. And I think that that emotion involved with school starting and fall happening and everything doing that, I think that that stuck with me so much. So every fall, I start making my resolutions for the following year. By the time we get to January, they're stuck. So it's actually kind of a win-win thing. I don't have to worry about the February drop-off. But it's different because I don't really know anybody else that does that. So have you ever done anything like that? Because for me, it just makes sense because even though it's not the beginning of the year, it's always been the beginning of the year because that's when you start school or whatever. And so for me, it's just always made more sense to do it that way. So I'm kind of gearing up for some of my resolutions. And like I said, I'll probably have a video that's just talking about that kind of stuff. But one of them is like the prep for fall, which is more baking, decorating, enjoying the fall weather. I told my husband I wanted to definitely get the fire pit going this year and roast some pineapple squares and just really enjoy the cooler weather, which we're about to have some. It's only like low 90s today, so it's actually not as bad. And next week I think we're going to hit like high 80s, low 90s all week long. Of course, we've got Ida starting to bear down in the Gulf, so that's going to start affecting high pressures and low pressures, and I don't even understand it all. But so our weather may be a little wonky, but we are actually starting to hit the cool down time. And so it's nice because even though I love summer is my favorite time of the year, the evenings in fall are it's so much easier to go out. It's easier to be outside and enjoy it, not just burn up to death. And so, and you can have pumpkin items, so, which I really love this. It's really good. I'm going to just put it up close so you can see, get the picture of it. But anyway, it's really, really good. I love that stuff. But just kind of wanted to say happy last weekend of August. I hope your summer was all you wanted it to be. And I hope that your fall is everything you could ever dream for. So Because that's what chasing your sunsets is all about, is designing your life in a way that you and your family are happy and healthy and just vibrant and living life to its fullest, enjoying the things that are in life. So, happy last day or not last day, but last weekend of August. Enjoy it. Go chase your sunsets, and I will see you next week. Have a great one. Bye, guys.